Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
What's up, money makers? Looking for the next stock to explode, or just want to break one down and see its potential, or just sit in the
Yeah,
classroom with
yeah,
other stockholders and see what they're doing? Well, you come to the right place today with Just.Scrollin.Trades, and you can catch all these hot deals and updates over at Banking with Billy's Discord. The coach is there. They're blowing that smoke every day, just like me, and we're always chasing and letting go. And we flood the chats with updates and direction on our best knowledge to the path that we should all take with these stocks. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I'm your host, John, with Just.Scrollin.Trades, and today we were working with Niche. He's got a couple questions over some stocks, so let's break them down. I'm going to go ahead and just let everybody see. Mr. Niche here, he's wanting to check out
yeah.
SOUNLRHC BZFD LRHC. So let's see what
And
we're
don't
looking
forget,
at.
these are from Wall Street themselves.
Do what now?
They're from Wall Street.
Wall Street. All right. These are actually from Wall
Yeah.
Street. So let's see what we got going on here then. First one we're going to look into is SOUN. SOUN. All right. Looks like the price is at 394. It opened up in the green. That's always good. The 52-week low was 149. The 52-week high is 511. Okay, so we still got room to grow. Ooh, I already see something pretty interesting there I'm about to look at. All right. The market cap is 1.0 billion. Oh, okay. That's quite a bit. That's some
Very good.
this has got a lot of change in it. Huh. And let's see here. What is the shareholdings? Okay, 255 million. Those are the ones that are outstanding. The free float is 213. Okay, so there's a lot to play with here. My first question, even before, normally I go straight to volume, but actually I saw that market cap. I want to know what's going on. Let's see what this is. Next earnings. So they gave their next earnings on the 29th. EPS estimate is point zero negative 0.056. Hmm. Well, that says a lot. And that explains probably this right here. This little boom boom. I wonder. See, this is another one that's going to have to be checked out for the time frame because there is a gap right here. Now, is this a true gap? Is this gap lying to us? Is it a false gap? Is it a common gap? Like, what are we really working with? We're going to have to check that out later. That's going to take a little more looking into. But in the stream of things, in the moment, looking at it for the day, and as always, I'm going to mark that gap. That way I can come back to this. I know it's there. So, guys, bear with me. And we can also make sure that if it's true, we got to figure out what that is. Because if this is, and this also makes a little bit of sense after we got to reading that, right? So we read this, and your EPS estimate is minus 0.056. That's not good. But that kind of explains this gap because this is a gap up. All right, if it's a true gap, then that gap's got to be filled, which means that the market may go up here for a while, but then it's going to shoot back past this line to refill this gap, just like we were looking at earlier. But again, we got to make sure this is a true gap. We got to go back. We got to look at it. We got to see the time frames on it. But this has definitely got my attention. Um, let's see here.
I'm
We're gonna
glad.
jump over here to the news. Now, see, this is another thing though, Niche. We talked about
Yeah,
this several times on here.
yeah,
The big boys
yeah.
will play with our minds to make us
Yes.
buy into something, but gaps don't lie. That's why I've been preaching on my channel. The
Mm.
information that we can get just
Right.
from these numbers don't lie to us. The news may lie. The Wall Street guys may lie. The
Yeah.
people we're following may lie. But the numbers don't. You learn how to work the numbers are working for you. Don't chase the money. Let the money work for
Okay.
you. So
Okay.
let's go into it a little deeper here. All right. I don't like getting my news off Weeble. Yes, I mean it does have good news sometimes, and that's great and everything. But that's not my go-to place. So let's pull up here. We'll go to tip ranks first, and let's see what they say about it. SOUN.
You on?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
We're gonna make
This
people
company
rich.
is. I didn't even look at the name yet. SoundHound AI. Okay, Class
Yeah,
A
right.
stock
Everything's to do
forecast
there.
price target. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. We're already showing it has a strong buy,
Yeah, definitely.
but I want to see here. Okay, so Class A in the past 3 months, the average target. They want the average price target to be 467 with a high forecast of $5 and a low forecast of $4. So that's actually a good thing that they're working around the dollar mark because that's how the big boys do. Even no matter the amount of money there, they always go particularly around tens, hundreds, thousands. They ride in that percent, and if they do that, then that shows stability. So their expectation is stability already. See, that's what I'm saying. All this information tells
And
you
it's
the
a billion,
story.
and I guess it's $1 billion stock as well. So I think it's a quite they've got strong balance sheet, and I guess
Well, look at this
even
right
for a
here.
long term investment.
Here tells you this is the balance sheet for like people like us, right? You don't have to
Yeah,
read all the numbers and everything if you want to check out their past. Look at this.
yeah,
This right here shows you their trend line and how they've continuously grown.
yeah,
But not only have they continuously grown, but look at the strong buy. That's a 9 out of 9 strong buy.
yeah, yeah,
Like I mean, that that's the craziest thing, and it's every single month. Look, there's only been all right. We had 8, 9, 8, 9, 7. But of course, this is 2024, and their earnings already came out, and that's all they got. They got away with a 7. They did pretty good for
Hmm.
2023 third
Yes.
quarter. So let's go back here and let's look a little further. All right. Sounds average month, so this is always good. But no, they are projecting 467, and again, I just want to zoom back. So we're at 401, so they're pretty much given a guarantee 467, and they're at four
Yeah.
dollars currently. Okay, or well, yeah. So they're at $4 currently. So let's mark
What's a
that.
good what's a good entry on them? Do you think?
Well, that's what we got to figure out here. So 467. About that's 466, right? That's 469. I'll bring it down a little bit. Right there, 467.9. That'll be fine. All right. So what does that tell us? Now, see, sometimes um, we've got to still mark that way we can remember what all this stuff is. So now we're going to put here expect uh, 467. That's what it said. So 467. That's their expectations. Actually, I'm going to put it that way too because it's not. I don't expect that, so I need to put it as they would. Expectations. Uh, Stock expectations. Now that we got that information there, we're going to be able to watch this. We're going to be able to keep up with the information and everything that we gather on it. That way, we
Right.
don't lose. So we're going to put this in the green because the reason I'm putting this in green is that way whenever I look back at this, I'm going to, okay, so that's my expectation, right? So then I'm also going to put down here, I'm going to make me another one. I'm going to give me a little more insight, but right here I'm going to put base, base of unknown gap. That way, that reminds me that hey, you need to look because that gap we don't know if it's a true gap or if it's fake. But also, we know at the base that this is going to be our drawback line. This is going to be our resistance line. So now we know that okay, if this is going to get up positive, and you want to say that 239 to 314, that's almost 100% right there. So in an options play, if this is a true gap up in an options play, this might be something to look at. It might be worth. We just gotta check that out. That's very intriguing. All right, now let's
One
go back
point
here and
second.
get some more information. And what's really crazy is how slow it's moving. But even though I keep looking down at the volume because the volume now is 7.9 million on buys and 6.48 on sales. So this is just like being fed and gradually growing.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's huge.
Yep. I'm not sure if oh, it's pan. It's got a pan top right there. That's good. So now look at that stock expectation. Remember 467, and it's on its way, and we have enough gas behind it. So maybe let's check. This is whenever we got to calm down and we got to look back at our RSI. So now that all this information that we gathered and it's exciting, let's look at the RSI. Why are we getting all these red candles and it's got so much volume pumping and the buys are winning? RSI time. RSI is showing us that we're already above the red line. You see that? That red line right there says, hey, you got to slow this down. You're pumping in the market too hard. This is where you got to back off at. If they ride up here for too long, they'll get yanked back down. That's why they play above this line and then they come out of it. You can see in the previous time frame here, they stayed pretty well in that line to meet compliance. So what does this tell us? Well, after again, let me check one more thing before I say this. When we're at 2022, this they're not that old yet, right? So just a couple years old here. I mean, they're barely just a couple years old, but now they got something to prove, especially in the heat of times, which makes me feel even better because I am above the red on the RSI. They've got to calm that down. That's why you always get these pullbacks, even whenever we're in an uptrend. You still get the little pullbacks because they got to keep the market level. Right here, that's a good indication. But what's really impressive is look at your MACD. You see how they're going above the green right there? They're going above your candles. Sometimes we see them go up, but we also see them go up underneath. I bet you right back here. You see how that's going up underneath right there? That's trying to rise above the market price. When it's above it, it's already above the market price. When you get that cross and that drop right there, like right back here, that was a good example right there. You get that cross right there, you see how it's above? It's hitting the high of the market. But when you get that cross, she's about to fall back off. You can follow your MACD, but the difference is whenever you entwine all this information I'm providing, when you entwine it is how you get your answers because you can see the candles are not the same every time. It's not consistent. So you're not consistently looking at the same thing. But the MACD, that's beautiful. That's on the day. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's back it down. Let's see where we're at. Aha. Look there on the 4 hour. That's showing you right there. It's got to do the pullback. Look right here. It's trying to calm down a little bit. That way it can pump because it's got way too much room to grow. So I would hold off right now, niche. We got to watch and see what this is going to do because
Right.
if I see a pull off, I would see it like right here somewhere, and where the day's
Right.
just getting started and it's already showing this kind of resistance. We'll
So
see.
what would you say that what would you say the entry is on? What would you say the entry price roughly?
Well,
What would you
we
get the entry
know
to be?
depending on how long you want to hold it for. If you're going for a day trade, this is not the day trade. If you're going for a swing trade, this may be the swing. Because all right, let's go ahead and start basing it out from where we're at, and let's see where we're at. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So
I guess I guess
our last strong point of resistance was right here. But then, even though we already got that one set and we know what it is, let's go ahead and bring in another
yeah.
one to show us let's will it in a little bit. We got to figure out where we're going with the expectation where it can give us. Now, this is going to give us a certain percentage. I'd have to do the math by the numbers. This will give us a certain percentage, and that percentage, if it's in your range of your risk, so if I'm risking 20% and this equals out to 20%, I'm money. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close. Let's see, 14. Yeah, so it's 345 and 3. That's 30. So yeah, I'm right at 20-30%. So this is 20-30%. If I'm not comfortable with that, I can always move this in. But after I see those points of resistance and support, now bringing it in, we got new resistance, new support. So that tells me right there, if that line still has not, oh, it did right there, didn't it? All right, so let's mark it. We got to bring this one down from resistance. Now we can tell it's starting to tell us a story. Now that we have this much information, let's see if I can wheel it back a little bit. Now, to remember what all these lines are, and of course, this would be let's see here. Potentially, this would be our point of buy-in at some point on the climb up, right? That's where you would want to buy in. Um, I haven't been watching this in particular stock, but I know where I would be watching to buy in at, and it'd probably be like right here somewhere in that dip, right when I saw the red, and then I saw that candle give back. Especially when I saw my T candle. My T candles don't lie. All right, so now that we know our buy-ins right here, and
So
then
what's our amount? I can't see. Right.
so
Okay.
see it's already pulling back from whenever I started this conversation. We were at $4. We're already
Right.
at $3.95. So that's what I'm
All
talking
right.
about. You got to do the math. If you don't do the math, you make
I,
bad trades. So to
I,
eliminate,
I think I think it's a pullback to two.
oh yeah, just while you're waiting to see, I guess. And then so I want to throw another one up real quick though because I want to show my line of resistance, right? So
Right.
I've got to keep up with them too because they're all going to be different. And when it gets pumping and you're in the moment, you don't have time to make these little notes. So you got to keep count. So when you keep count, you're counting ups, you're counting downs, and then you're also looking at time frames. So let me get my resistance. My resistance is going to be my yellow. And actually, I want to make that brighter. So I'm going to make it yellow. And I'm going to make it just a hair. No, that's good. All right, so now this is going to be my resistance line because I had the pullback or pump back to this, right? So now I know that that's my resistance. So where's my support? My support line was made here and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and there's my T. Right there's my indication too that it's about to drop. So, or pull back anyway. Let me put it that way. So now I'm going to move this line up to that red candle, the bottom of that red, and my other resistance are right there. That's going to be my support. So here, whenever I've got to break this support line, if it doesn't break the support line, then I know. Oh, hold on. Support. Okay. So let me move this out here with us where we can see because the trade's going to we're going to get closer into it anyway, right? So now that we're in here, we're pulling it up, we're breaking it down, we're looking at it. Now we see what this stock's doing. And this is in the heat of the moment, niche. This is not, there's different things that you got to add in if you're looking over days at times, but we're looking at see what it's doing right now because we're looking in for a buy-in point. That's why we're bringing all this here. So now I can move my resistance line up because see this was before my support would have been here. But my support's already moved up. I'm just trying to keep up with the stock now at this point, right? So now if I grab support, my support is here. Well, it already broke that support. Well, now I can move up. You know how we talk about moving your stop loss and moving your profit up?
Yes.
This is what I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the lines first before I do it with my money. That way I know
That's the
where I'm
key.
going.
That's the key.
So now that's the 4 hour. I'm bringing it back down and coming back in to see where we're at in the moment because now I know what it's doing for the day. Time
Right.
frames are very important, but this is telling me for the day. This is telling me over the next 4 hours what we're looking at, and we already see the red here. But now with the
Right.
information that we previous looked at and the volume control
Right.
and how the stock's actually working out, we know that this is a good buy. We're just trying to figure out when to get in. So we know that by seeing this, we know over the course of let's see here, 4 hours. So we're going to start right here today. We're going to have this little dip. There's your weekend. Let me get over here. Oh yeah. So right there, after the last weekend, started coming back up gradually. Had the little pullback right here. Now it's coming. It's setting up, is what it's doing. I really believe that this one might be setting up. and this is why I'm looking at it in the 4 hour. I'm looking in the future of the expectation and what they're thinking of what's going on right now. So that's why I'm looking in the 4 hour. Now, if I knew we were buying in, like, okay, like I was saying, if I go back down the 5 minute, we can do the same things in the 5 minute. We can set up, we can see where we're at. We'll get the baseline. All right, we know that that was our low, our drop was at, what would that say? I didn't even see it. 375, right? So we already know that we
Yeah,
bought
so
at
on my line,
375.
on my chart, it's showing buying at 3.46. 3.46 is the entry. That's what it shows on my graph. I don't know. That's on my trading 212 graph. It's showing 3.46 entry. What do you think? It's just I'm trying to evaluate what I see in certain other graphs. See
I'm not.
if they're very accurate. See, that's why.
See, and this is all right. So that would sound about right. It depends on how close it is whenever we get to the end of market for today on
Right.
this one. Simply because here's the thing, 375. But look at this. Your buys. Look at your buys. You're at 8 to 6. I mean, you got one. You probably got roughly 1.5 million more in buys than
Right.
sales. So it's going to
Yeah.
be hard for me to see that the big boys are going to let this pull back too far.
After
I
1800, I guess.
I
After
think you're
six,
fixing to
well,
see a change.
6 p.m. is UK time, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yours will be so. So after 6 p.m. that they'll get in. That's what I don't know. That's what's projected,
I
I
would
guess.
I would definitely at least see and wait if it comes back. See how hard of a line we get. See, this is where you got to start adding different things. Whenever you start getting into stuff like this, you got
Yeah.
to you got to look at it differently. You know.
Right.
Now look here. There's my indication too that this is about to
Yeah.
fall. So I'm looking at my MA right now, and of course my settings are different than the regular ones. But if you see this, you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
this. This is your 200 that's fixing to come through your down candle. So now, like if you were doing an options trade, then this is what you want to see because as soon as this spikes through, depending on your next two candles, and actually I helped Ash out on this. One of the guys in chat, he asked me questions all the time, and he couldn't figure it
Right.
out. And now he's making money with this since I showed him. But do you remember me talking about the mountaintops too? This is a right shoulder right here. The only thing is,
Right.
how far back does it go? So that tells me if this is happening like I think it is, and that goes through that red candle, then that's going to show us,
Right.
which I can go back to the 3 minutes. Oh yeah, it's went through. You see that purple? See that purple going right through there? And we're showing two reds, but this is in 3 minutes. I right there. See that? I still saw a little green pop up first. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I don't
I
like
saw it
making
too.
I don't like making choices in 3 minutes, but I'd rather make them in the five. But I will look to see the motion of how it's going. But see, this is what we want. We want this pullback,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
that we're getting into
So
this
that
time
you.
frame, this is going to show us. I think we're getting close to the buy-in anyway, Niche.
Yeah.
We're about to
Yeah.
find
I just need
out.
to know trigger because I'm gonna pop away for 5-10 minutes, but then I'm gonna come straight back on.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds good. We can definitely
so
do that, and we'll cover that one.
yeah, just
Uh,
gonna pick my kid up, and I know he's a tiny bully, but so I'll get back straight onto it. But no, many thanks for that evaluation. Yeah, it was great,
tell you what, Niche,
fantastic.
I'll just meet you back here in the
It's
steam room.
it's
Sound
very
good?
technical. I'm a technical person, but it's very technical for me at the moment with the graphs because I'm not actually doing options trading anymore. But who knows? Maybe in the future I'll start when I understand it better. But
Right, me
I'm doing
too.
okay with I'm doing okay with Palantir Technology. I made £1,600 on that. AMC is going to go to $20 soon. I
Yep.
heard. Um, the other
Um,
stocks, I guess, are Apple is a very good buy at the moment.
Another one
You
you might
know,
want to look at. I know that RBLX, a lot of big hitters that I keep up
no,
with have jumped in LBLX. And
L for Lima, B for Bravo, LBLX, yeah? LBLX.
RBLX. Here you go. I'm gonna put it up on the screen for you. RBLX. Uh,
Oh, LBLX.
and
Okay, I'll look into that as well. Well, I'll catch up with you in about 20, 30 minutes. I just got to get my kid and then I'll be back on track. But
sounds good. I'll be here.
okay. Thank you very much for that.
No
Thank you.
problem, Niche. Bye bye.
Right.
All right, guys. Definitely got to work with y'all schedules. Definitely understand that every day. But now we got a little bit of facts with SOUN. Now we have something to cover later on to go through with it. Thanks to Niche. And this is how I would do it. I'm gonna put here Niche. He's in our Discord, banking with Billy. Thank you, Billy, for all your loyalty to your people in the Discord and helping everybody grow. You don't get that everywhere you go. And especially here, guys, this is what we do. We go over how we're feeling about a stock, we take the emotions out, and then we put the money in. I haven't looked at this stock. I have no feelings towards this stock. He did. And the hardest thing sometimes is pumping those brakes and saying, hey, you know what? I need help with this. Nobody likes to ask for help. Everybody wants to do it on their own. I get that. But don't you think part of doing it on your own may be asking? Because you got to think, we all got to develop. We all got to learn. We don't want to slow down from that. We don't want to divert from learning. We don't want to divert from growing. So, hey, reach out to us. Banking with Billy Discord. I'm Mr. John. You hear that a lot of the time, too. And I'm Just Scrolling Trades. Catch me on YouTube. We'll see you guys next time.